managing energy and managing changes. And this is something that I think is important to all of the lectures that we're going to talk about. So we're going to start this as a base for you.
Actually, I want to stop you right there.
Right there.
You just made a great point. And
What's
the
that?
reason is because the pyramid that we're talking about here
All of them.
is in all of them.
Oh, is it? Oh.
And we
Including
introduced
the
that in
exercise.
orientation, just the basic concepts of the pyramid, because patient's first lecture may actually be anatomy. And they won't get all this talk on energy until, who knows, maybe third, fourth, or fifth lecture.
Good planning, guys.
So your point is right, spot on. And I just
Okay.
wanted to point that out so all you guys are aware of that. Did you guys get that? I'm getting some. The pyramid is in all of the lectures,
It's except anatomy.
except anatomy. But all the other ones, the nutrition, there's components of it, and the physical activities, there's components of it. So Margaret's point was just spot on, and I was just pointing that out. You guys with me?
All right.
Okay.
So let's start with this pyramid, and we're probably all familiar with the pyramid, okay? There are 4 sections of this pyramid. There's the physical, there's the emotional, there's the mental, and there's the spiritual. Now, why are we doing this? Why do we need to manage, expand, or invest our energy? Well, we want to improve our health. Now, how many of us don't want to improve our health? Okay, sure we do. We want to feel better. But it's more than a feeling. It's more than the physical. It's more than the emotional. It's more than the mental. It's more than the spiritual. It's a combination of the 4. Okay? We want to improve our performance. What is your work right now? What is your work in your life? What if you're retired? But you still have a work in your life. You still have a family. Your family might be the neighborhood that you live in. So again, you want to improve your happiness. We're going to talk about what this means. What is happiness? What have you done to make your life happier, or what can you do? If one of these is missing, let's talk about that. Let's talk about how. How are we emotionally maybe deficient in some area? How are we spiritually deficient? Or are we really spiritual, but you know what, in this physical area, I could really use some big improvement. Okay? And how is one affected by the other? If you don't have a good physical energy, okay, and many of you I'm sure don't, because again, maybe what you were doing 6 weeks ago, you're not able to do today because of your heart issue or whatever. So how has that affected you emotionally? How has that affected you mentally? How has that affected you spiritually? Okay? Is this whole thing turned around? Are you in the physical at the top? Because it's the least amount? So we need to look at all of those things. We need to engage our minds. How many of us have talked ourselves into doing something, or more importantly, talked ourselves out of doing something, even though we know that we should be? Even though we're going to emphasize, when we have exercise, emphasize exercise, there's more to it than that. We're not only exercising physically, but we need to make some exercise changes here.
Margaret,
Yes.
can you go back?
Yes.
The questions that you're asking are good, but you're asking them very rhetorically, so you're still telling
Oh,
while
okay.
you're asking the questions, and this, you really want to get, so you're saying you probably don't feel as good as you normally do.
Okay, so I should ask them.
Ask them from a motivational interviewing perspective.
Okay. See, I didn't
Ask them, oh, you didn't have that. Ask them, how are you feeling physically? Are you,
Okay.
you know, instead of assuming that they
Okay,
are and
all
putting
right.
those thoughts or ideas
Okay.
in their head, because the questions you're asking are good, but you're not actually letting them answer it. You're sort of
Just
just going and going
feeding.
and going
I'm
and going.
feeding,
Yeah,
not
and so one of the things I told Brooks is you're not allowed to stand behind the table. I told Brooks he wasn't allowed to stand
Oh.
behind the table because
Oh.
Mingle.
the table creates a
Separates.
barrier between
Separates,
you
exactly.
and the sharing
Okay.
and the patients. So if you can just give us an example of a couple of questions that you might actually ask
Okay.
the patients about this, I think it would be helpful, because when you have people participating, you're not as much in control, and that's where
Oh, yeah.
It's
That's
where
where
it
the
gets harder.
motivational.
Well, that's where it gets harder.
Exactly, okay. Okay, all right, we want to improve our health. How was your health 6 months ago? Jason?
My health,
Health, how was your health 6 months ago?
it was fine until I started having those chest pains,
Okay, all right,
came on suddenly.
okay. How about you, how was your health? How was your health 6 months ago?
Much sicker than I am today.
Okay, much sicker. Okay, so again, Jason has changed. So have you.
If I can, sorry,
Pardon
I
me?
hate to jump in.
No, that's fine. I'd rather you do and then.
So here's what I want you to think about. What
Okay.
the objective of the slide, what are you trying to do? So I think that your eyes are going to the bullet points and you're trying to get them through the bullet points.
Okay.
And that's not the objective of the slide.
Okay.
So what I want you to focus on is the pyramid. We're here to talk about your energy. Energy is physical. So let's talk about physical energy and have them share with you what they think physical energy is. We're going to focus
Okay.
on the pyramid and explaining physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual and talking to them about it, because what the objective of the slide is to say that if we can work on our energy, what
Okay.
you're going to get is better health and performance
Okay.
and happiness, rather
This
than
is the
starting there.
product. This is the
Yeah,
product.
this is the main focus. So the
Okay.
objective here is to get them to understand that energy is interdimensional,
Okay.
that all of them are important, and that one affects the other. I would say that, and then when you get that right, you get really good results.
Okay.
So